Greetings and salutations out there, everybody. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. It is the Psycho Nerd, and welcome to the Psycho Nerd Podcast. We are joined today by my partner in crime, CJ. How's it going, CJ? As
Hello.
as she waves to the microphone. I told you this is going to be a regular thing. Imagine what it's going to look like when I start using the actual camera, which I might do in the future. I'm thinking about it. Maybe. But we are at the end of spooky season 2025. Oh, I am actually very sad. Are you sad or are you happy that Halloween is already tomorrow?
Well, I'm sad that it's almost over,
Mhm.
but I'm happy that it's almost Halloween.
That is our favorite time of the year. So, yeah. Unfortunately for me, I will be at work tomorrow. Bleh.
So
But,
I
well, okay, we'll both be at work. Yay, we'll both be at work.
gotta
Okay.
make the money.
Yes, we got to make the money. But you know what? Being home, getting to take my son trick or treating and watching a couple of horror movies until I can't stay awake anymore. That's how I like to spend Halloween. You know what? If I could ever get invited to a party at some point down the road, that would be cool too. That
Did,
never
did you
happens.
get your son to understand that it's okay to do Halloween things when it's not Halloween yet?
Yeah, he made a comment
I heard
yesterday.
him.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just to kind of clarify, yesterday I got to have pretty much my Halloween with my son 2 days prior to actual Halloween. CJ's daughter is at a high school and they were having a what they call it a trail in treat instead of
Trail of
a
treats.
yeah. So essentially, you walk a trail along the foot was it baseball field?
It's
I'm
by
sorry,
the baseball
by the
field.
baseball field, and there's just table after table, people just handing out candy, and we went and got between the two of us, we got a pretty good haul. I wasn't expecting to get any candy at all, but you know, it was fun. And then we went and he picked out a pumpkin. We came home, we carved it. And then we came home, or after we were done carving, excuse me, we watched the Monster Squad.
That's awesome.
That's one of my personal favorites of all time, the Monster Squad. But that's pretty much the spooky news we got right now. But the main reason for this podcast was to talk a little bit about Dismember the Alamo. For anyone who doesn't know, that is a little horror movie marathon that they've been doing up in at certain Alamo Draft House locations. I don't really know how long it's been going on. I stumbled upon it a couple of years ago, and I thought it sounded like something fun. Unfortunately, they weren't doing it here in our town. I actually had to drive up to San Antonio. So this year was the third year that I've been to Dismember the Alamo, and it was CJ's
Second year.
second year. Thank you.
What?
I love how she holds up her two fingers like two, two. But yes, the first year I went, and well, that's what I'll do. We'll just kind of run through all the different movies that I and we have watched in the last couple of years. I thought it'd be fun thing to do for the spooky season since this is a horror movie marathon. But what makes it more fun is that it's you don't know what any of the movies are going to be until they announce it right before. So for us, I don't know, it's almost like getting a whole night's worth of secret screenings
Yeah.
essentially, and I like that idea. You know, it's like on one side of it there's that level of excitement, like, ooh, is it going to be something I really like that I've never seen on the big screen? That would be awesome. And then there's that level of, oh boy, is it going to be something I don't want to watch? Time will tell. But excuse me, 2 years ago, I went up to San Antonio because they only do it at a few different locations. That there's a San Antonio, one of the San Antonio locations does it. A couple of years ago, they did it in our hometown, but then they didn't do it here last year for some reason. But they did do it this year, so it's like I guess they just kind of bounce around on whether or not they want to bring it down here or not. I don't know, but I know there's other locations. But I went to the one in San Antonio, and even though I was by myself, it didn't feel like I was alone because the people that I was surrounded by got into brief little conversations with them in between every film. So it was pretty cool. Now, for year one, I'll just run through the movies real quick. The first movie that they showed us, All Hallows Eve.
I
Yes, the original Art the Clown before we got the current Art the Clown. Which is funny. I had already seen All Hallows Eve sometime prior to going up to watch it, but when they announced it, I got real excited. I was like, "Oh, I get to watch this on the big screen now. This is freaking cool!" Because I don't think I've even found a copy of this one on like Blu-ray or anything. I mean, maybe it's out there. I haven't really looked that hard. I remember looking a couple of years ago, but
Maybe.
one day I wouldn't mind owning that one. Even though it's a different guy playing Art the Clown, it is still a fun movie for me, and I do like some of the little nuances, little nods from that movie to the Terrifier series, not just Art the Clown. So I enjoyed that. The second movie they showed was Chopping Mall, which I'm pretty sure you haven't seen yet.
I might not have. I don't remember that one
No?
very well. No.
It's an 80s cheesy movie about this mall puts in a high-tech security system with these like high-tech robots and whatnot, but something happens where it's kind of like short circuit. Something with the machine or machines, I forget how many there are, I've only seen it twice. uh, Something happens where they go haywire and they just go on a murdering spree of anybody who's in the mall. Now
The
this had
the computers go haywire.
no, the actual robots
Oh,
go haywire.
interesting.
Now you would think there wouldn't be that many people in the mall to begin with, so that, but apparently some people are actually spending the night in the mall to hang out, watch movies, and have sex.
Where can you find this mall?
I don't know. I forget where it was, but I'll look it up. But there is at least one familiar face in this movie, Barbara Crampton from Suitable Flesh. You'll remember her from that, the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in it, and that was one of the few movies that I've actually seen her in so far. But I need to branch out and watch more of her filmography. But that makes for a very fun, watching with a group of people in the theater. So that was pretty fun. The third movie I had actually never seen before up until that point. Of course, I've seen the American Ring, and I've seen part two. You can't see her face right now, but she's doing this really scrungy thing with her face. She don't like it. The ring,
Very, very no. No.
very, very no.
No.
I'm gonna tie her ass to the chair one day, and I'm gonna make her watch it. I'm gonna have her eyes propped open, like what the hell? The character from oh, good lord, what is it called? A Clockwork Orange. No, stop it! I beg you. Yes,
That would not be nice.
no, but this was not the American Ring. This was the original Japanese version, Ringu, which up until this point I'd never seen before. I thought it wasn't too bad, and I actually do have it on Blu-ray, so I do look forward to watching it a second time, see if it still hits pretty well. After that, the final movie of the day from 2 years ago, they showed Opera, which is a Daria Argento movie.
Mm-mm.
And I really can't say too much about this one because, quite frankly, after three movies, when we got to this one, I started kind of dozing off just a little bit. So I don't remember that much about it. I know it's available on streaming. I do intend on rewatching it at some point down the road. Actually, if I'm being honest, I am looking forward to looking up all of Dario Argento's movies and start watching them because I've only seen a couple, and apparently the people who pick these movies every year have a hard on for Dario Argento because
Seems that way.
yeah, it really does because they show one of his movies every single year that I've gone, and then upon talking to some of the people who are working on the marathon, it turns out they've been doing this before I ever went to Dismember the Alamo. So this is like some kind of weird tradition. We have to show an Argento movie, and it's
Why
like
can't we just show like a Cronenberg movie? Those are. I would rather watch that confusing stuff than
to be
that.
to be continued. Then last year we actually went. She came with me last year. We went up to San Antonio to check out the or excuse me, I keep wanting to say festival,
You do.
but no, the marathon. So last year, oh boy, last year, it's like it's good not to set expectations on these because you just never know what it's going to be. But I'll tell you what,
That one was good.
last year was 3 out of 4 bangers. I will tell you that right now. Right off the bat, we are sitting in our seats. We're ready to go for this one. And the girl comes out. Apparently, it's the same girl, and I wish I could remember her name. She's the one who did all the announcements for my first year, 2 years ago, and she was there last year as well. And it turns out she's the one who's doing all the picking of the films. So, okay, cool. The first movie right out of the bag was one of my personal favorites, Return of the Living Dead. God, that's a fun ass movie. I remember I actually got excited. I was like, oh my God, right? The first one out of the bag is a banger. Oh my God, this is freaking awesome.
Yes, it was very good.
And you do enjoy that movie, right?
Yes, I do.
One of these days, we need to do a marathon of 1, 2, and 3 because I have all of them on Blu-ray now. That's a marathon I definitely want to do, and something I wouldn't mind talking about on the channel down the road. So, first shot out of the bag, awesome. The next movie, Hell House, LLC.
I like that one.
Yeah, you know what's funny about this movie? I saw it for the first time, not even, I think, a week, maybe 2 weeks at most, before we went to this marathon. And I remember thinking, this is freaking awesome. I just saw this movie and I get to see it on the big screen all of a sudden, which is awesome. So, because I definitely enjoyed it the first time, and it turns out there is an extended cut or director's cut. I forget exactly what they call it. I'm gonna look that one up in the future and check it out because I definitely want to give that a go.
I really want to see the other ones.
Yeah, there's other ones. There's sequels too, and I'm curious about what the hell are all the sequels about. So that definitely sparked our curiosity. So far for last year, between the first and second movie, it's like that's 2 thumbs up between the two of us. We're having a lot of fun, right? And then the third movie plays, big surprise, another Dario Argento movie that I've never seen or heard of.
I thought that was the last one.
Nope, it was not. It was the third one. You're thinking of this year.
Oh.
But we'll get to that. That year, it's referred to as phenomena. Yeah, phenomena. But it's also referred to as creepers, depending on where you're watching it, apparently. At least it had a couple of familiar faces. It has Jennifer Connelly. It's got Donald Pleasance. I want to say it came out in the 80s. I be honest with you, I don't remember too much about this one either. I mean, we sat and watched the whole thing. I didn't doze off or anything, but I don't think
very memorable.
I don't remember it being very memorable. Yeah, I don't remember it being very memorable. Does that?
No,
Okay.
all I know is this girl was in a house and something was going on with her.
That is the greatest description of any movie I have ever heard in my entire life. Give this woman an award. Give her a cookie.
You had cookies?
I do not have cookies.
What the hell?
Actually, you know what? I do. I have those, what is it? The mint chocolate.
Where?
Yeah, I'll show you. Depends on whether or not I think you deserve it after we're done.
You hear him? Mimi.
Yeah, she knows damn well I'm going to give her one. Come on now. Anyway, so the last movie of last year, okay, kind of a funny story. When I found out that it was this particular girl, whose name I cannot remember, that was picking all the movies, I would, every time there was like a brief intermission, I went to go talk to her in between every film about how she makes her picks. And we talked a little bit about the fact that they show all the Dario Argento movies, which is funny. I remember there was a guy who was there who approached her at one point while I was talking to her and point blank asked her, why do we keep showing Dario Argento movies every year? Like, why do we do that? Apparently, this guy's been coming to this marathon since the beginning. And he says they've even replayed a few of them over the years. And I'm like, can we just take him out of the equation for all those that are new to this experience and maybe try to add one other movie that I don't know. But I just find that funny that they always show one of his films. So, but anyway, the girl, when she was making the announcement before the fourth film, she was talking about remakes from the last like so many years and whatnot. She talked about House on Haunted Hill. She talked about 13 Ghosts. She talked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And while she's naming out these movies, I couldn't help myself. You know, You know what I did?
House of Wax.
I blurted out, "Don't forget House of Wax." And as soon as I said that, her reaction was like, "Oh, well, okay, there it is. That's what we're showing right there." Like I kind of ruined it for her and I wasn't trying to. I kind of felt bad. But it's like you're listing off all these different remakes and I've seen pretty much all of
I
them,
really like that remake.
or
I
at
can
least the
watch
majority.
that one a lot.
I agree. Out of the three House of Wax movies that we've gotten since the 30s, 1930s, to be specific, up until now, this one is pretty good because it's not that similar to the original
It's its own
Mystery
movie.
of the. Right, exactly. It's its own film. So, so we were happy with that. So last year so far is the best Dismember the Alamo that we have been to and that I've been to. Period. Now, this year
We should have went to San Antonio.
they show the exact same films.
It doesn't matter. There's you the it. It's the environment makes
Oh,
it better
okay.
too.
That is fair because every time they do Dismember the Alamo in San Antonio, they sell out every time. They're like there's no exceptions. There's times where I forget to go and buy a ticket and I realize, oh crap, there's like 4 seats left. Holy shit. So yeah. This year, um, okay, so as you could probably tell from my demeanor, this year was not exactly what I would call a banger year. And she was not too happy either. But let me explain, okay? Because the previous 2 years, from the listings that I just gave, there were a lot of good choices that were made, okay? So we had expectations. Matter of fact, I
You had the big expectation.
okay, well, no, because originally we filmed a video outside of the theater before the first movie played, and I was going to do a follow up video afterwards, which I did, and I was going to put on my channel several days ago, but somehow I've lost the file. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. These things happen apparently, but hopefully I find it. If I do, I will put it on the channel because I did put a little work into it and I was a little pissed off. So that's why we're doing this podcast now, where we can talk about everything, all the years in unison, and we can re talk about this year. But when we sat out in front of the theater, we had some expectations. We had certain movies that we would have liked to have seen. Nothing, absolutely nothing that we had in mind to watch played. As a matter of fact, not a single movie that either one of us has ever seen in our entire lives was played. It was a marathon full of nothing but brand new films
Which
to
isn't
me.
bad. It isn't
It's
bad
not.
to have
It's not
that.
bad. It's not bad. That's the thing. The problem is that the expectation, my disappointment with this year is the fact that they didn't show anything that I was familiar with, and I was really hoping for that. The most I was hoping for is maybe one, if not two, familiar bangers. I was hoping for that because I kind of figured they were going to show another Argento movie. I kind of expected it. So it's like, well, what else are they going to do? But no, we got absolutely nothing that we knew. The first movie was a movie that was made in Mexico, they said, but it
I
was the
think so.
English language,
Something like that. Or it was a Mexican producer.
something like that. Yeah. This one is called "Don't Panic."
Which was silly.
It's a very yeah.
About
What
a
she
Ouija
said.
board that doesn't even really part of the story.
I have had to explain this to her a few different times, but we keep going circles and circles. Essentially, you've got this grown-up kid who's supposed to be either in college or high school. He still wears dinosaur pajamas.
And they belong to the actor.
Yes, they announced that the actor brought his own pajamas for the filming. So the pajamas that he wears throughout the film are totally his. Hey man, tweets their own. That's all I got to say. But okay, so he this guy has a birthday party, but then a bunch of friends pop up at the last minute and they have him blow out candles on the cake. Somebody introduces a Ouija board, they get involved with it, and then we never see the Ouija board again. It's never brought up or mentioned until the end of the movie, and I won't ruin it for anybody who wants to check this out.
But don't be wanting to see this Ouija board till the end.
Well, the Ouija board doesn't really impact the movie that much, even though it is what sets things in motion. But we don't even find that out until the end. But the bottom line with this movie is that it was so horribly acted that it made it hilarious. The people in the theater were laughing their butts off. We were having a lot of fun laughing just on how atrocious. And I'm not just talking like, oh, this actor or that actor. Every single person in this movie is terrible. But there's no way I can't laugh at it. It's so bad that it's good. It's one of those kind of movies, you know,
Cheesy.
unbelievably,
A
very
cheesy horror movie.
very cheesy.
But
So
very good effects. I'll give them that.
one of these days, I might go back and rewatch this one to see if it still makes me laugh as much. Maybe add it to my collection, but I don't know. I really don't. At this point, I'm going to say probably not. The second movie was a movie from the 60s, like 67 or something like that. 2000 Maniacs.
Oh, them 2000 Maniacs making that movie, that's for damn sure.
Oh, this one was weird. Apparently, there's a group of different couples that are driving along the road, and they are detoured by a couple of
They're looking at the license plates and they're trying to find license plates that are up north.
exactly.
And they detour them to their little town. And these idiots believe that they're supposed to follow the detour into this dirt road, which makes no sense, but okay. I would have turned around and went the other way.
I would have just kept going and gone down the same road they were already going down and just ignored the detour because there's no reason for it. But
Then it wouldn't be a movie.
yeah, exactly. They get detoured off to this town. Apparently, this town is celebrating its centennial. Apparently, some kind of a massacre. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. Happened about 100 years ago. So these guys are looking to this whole town, as a matter of fact, is looking to take it out on people from the north because that's what happened. So 100 years ago.
Without ruining a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say anything about the ending for anybody out there who actually decides to look out this movie and check it out.
Just be warned.
There's some weird gore in this movie. There's a few weird situations. At one point, there was something that happened that made me tell CJ into her ear, "Double barrel roll," but I won't get into details on that. This movie was also not the best acted, but it wasn't as bad as Don't Panic in terms of quality, but it was just weird. I like the soundtrack though. There's a lot of banjo.
I had to stick little paper towels into my ears because it was so loud.
I didn't notice. I thought the banjo music was catchy. I was getting into it throughout the whole movie. That was really the best part of the movie for me. So, I don't know. Maybe I watch this one again sometime. Maybe I don't.
Make sure you have the treble up on your TV so you can really hear that.
Yeah, exactly. The third movie is a movie that I had passed up on streaming services multiple times in the past few years, but never got around to checking it out, and that was Possessor. Okay, so this is done by Cronenberg's kid.
Yeah, the son. Brandon, I think his name.
I forget his name. I'm not
Starts
even
with
going
a
to
B.
try.
I
So,
don't remember.
yeah, so if you've ever seen a Cronenberg movie, you already know what to expect from this. This movie is weird. It's a little bit of body horror going on. It's a trip. It is a freaking trip. I remember telling my son later on that because originally I talked about maybe him coming with me and checking this out. Maybe there'd be a couple of movies that he could get into. I told him it's probably a good thing that he didn't come and watch the movie
Yeah, I
because
don't think you'd like that.
there was sex and nudity, and no, it's not his forte right now.
I was right.
So
His name is Brandon.
his name is Brandon Cronenberg. Yes.
Not Brandon. Brandon.
Well, at least the movie had a couple of familiar faces. It's got Jennifer Jason Leigh and Sean Bean. And that's all I'm going to say about Sean Bean. If you watch a lot of his movies, you probably already know where this is going with him, but that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, that's the best I can say about this one. It was just weird. Very, very weird. Very off-putting. But it makes me want to go back and check it out again just to see if it has that rewatchability or not. And I know it's still on streaming. Like I said, I've passed it up so many times.
It has Donald Sutherland's son on there too.
Who did he play?
He played. I have to look and see.
Well, she needs to bow out and take a phone call, but that's fine because we're we're pretty much almost done with this anyway. This wasn't going to be a very long podcast. This was just going to be us talking about these 3 years, and that's it. So, Possessor, very weird, very, very out there, but I will check it out again in the future. Now, again, going into the fact that we had some expectations going into this, and not a single movie that we were interested in or that we knew about, I should rephrase that, played during this marathon. So between me and her, we were already kind of ready to just, you know what, we were thinking, you know what, if the next movie is not something that we really want to see, we're gonna bow out, go home and watch something that we want to watch. You know what I mean? And that's because for whatever reason I had forgotten about the whole Dario Argento thing, so I wasn't thinking about it. So when they announced what the movie was, we're both sitting there, and I'm there like, oh, maybe they'll show this, maybe they'll show this, maybe they'll show that, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna show Dario Argento's Demons, and I was like, oh, right, we hadn't touched on him yet today, had we? Oh, okay, all right. I'm going to make it known right now, I do not have any kind of a problem with Dario Argento, the few films of his that I've actually seen. It's just that I wanted to see something I was familiar with. That's what it is. That's where my disappointment of this year's marathon really stems from. It has nothing to do with the movies in general, but the bottom line is she is back.
I am back.
She is back. We're going to close this up real quick. Uh, so we walked out of Demons after about maybe 5 minutes. I do intend on finding this movie and watching it. I know it's out there on streaming, probably Tubi or something, and I will give it a go. So I'm not hating on it or anything. But we came home, grabbed a bite, and watched Stir of Echoes because we just absolutely wanted to watch something that we knew and loved.
Yes, very much so.
And I fucking love Stir of Echoes. In my opinion, one of the, if not the most underrated, not just movies, but or not just horror movies, but just movies in general for 1999. At my theater, when I was working there at the time, it didn't do all that well. It was only there a couple of weeks, and this was, I think, around the time that The Sixth Sense had come out. It was killing it at the box office, and I can't help but wonder if maybe it overshadowed that movie, Stir of Echoes, a little bit.
It did. I think that little boy did a lot better than the one on Sixth Sense. No, I like the little boy on Sixth Sense, but this other one just seems so unbothered.
I mean, he plays the role differently. Between the two kids, they play it differently, whereas the Haley Joel Osment played him very scared, very skittish, in The Sixth Sense. But in this one, in Stir of Echoes, the kid, he's pretty much accepted this is what it is, and he just goes along with the flow. So, but that's how Dismember the Alamo ended for this year. I'm gonna say year two was my favorite so far, and you've only been there 2 years, so I think that it's kind of a given that last year was your favorite compared to this year.
Very much so.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens next year. Maybe we'll actually get more potential bangers down the road. And you know what's funny is that after all the last 15 years with all the horror movies that I've tried to search out and buy and watch, it amazes me there are still so many of them out there that I've never heard of before. So I'll be doing this probably for the better part of the rest of my life, constantly stumbling upon other horror movies that I've never heard of before.
Well, that's a good thing.
It is. It keeps things interesting. And again, I'm not going to say that these movies were terrible. It's just not what we were looking for. But I think I've made my point on that.
Possessor wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't.
It was just a little confusing. I need to watch it again.
I agree. We'll watch it again sometime in the near future. But that's going to do it for this podcast. We are barely hitting the half-hour mark, so that's fine. There was another podcast I wanted to record before tomorrow, or at least on tomorrow for Halloween. Me just kind of talking about the slow progression from my youth up until about the time I hit 17 years old on my progression of becoming a horror movie fan. It seemed like a good idea, and I'm still looking to record that at some point over the next few days, but we will see how that goes. But that's going to conclude our Dismember the Alamo talk here. Would you like to say anything before we go?
I can't wait for next year.
Can't wait for next year, and that goes double for Fantastic Fest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But thank you very much for listening. I greatly appreciate it. I am the Psycho Nerd. I am putting out new content. I'm currently editing a few different videos currently. I have one in the chamber. I will probably put it on the chamber as of tomorrow for Halloween. If I'm lucky, if I can get through the editing on this one, maybe I get this one out tomorrow too. Hopefully, we'll see. So I can at least say I did something for my channel for the spooky season. But we'll see how it goes. But thank you so very much. I'm trying to think. What else can I say? That's pretty much it.
Yep, that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you have any comments, if you've seen any of these movies that I've talked about and have anything you want to, talk about, feel free to drop a line. I know I'm terrible at these endings. I'm not good at it, but it is what it is. But
Don't ramble. Just say
it's hard not to. It's difficult. And it's even more difficult with you sitting there smiling at me like that. Makes me feel like a dummy dum-dum.
you're not a dummy dum dum.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this. Please be safe. Take care of yourselves. But, don't forget to have fun. Just not too much fun.